Now to an I-team investigation. A mother with a history of child abuse gained custody of her son a year later. That boy was dead. 6-year-old Hank Brown Rocco spent most of his life with his father, Bo Brown. A judge issued him sole custody. But in 2020, Brown died in a car crash and Hank was turned over to his mother, Tasha Rocco. The court did that despite her checkered past. Since last September's tragedy, the I-team has been digging into how this happened, including the criminal history of the mother, who now awaits trial. Here's Sean Gallagher.
Today, Tasha Rocco is sitting in the Milwaukee County Jail awaiting a hearing in the death of her 6-year-old son, Hank. But her run-ins with the law started years before he was even born. In 2014, Tasha was charged and convicted of child neglect and battery of a peace officer, among other charges, and she was sentenced to a year in jail. According to the criminal complaint, after a disturbance with a neighbor, Rocco grabbed one of her older children and threatened to hurt him if police touched her. 3 years later, also in Fond du Lac, she was charged and convicted of disorderly conduct for an incident inside her older child's school, causing enough of a scene that the school instituted a soft lockdown, according to that criminal complaint. She served 15 days in jail for that incident. Online court records show a judge issued sole custody of Hank to his father, Bo Brown, in 2018, allowing only supervised visitation between Hank and Tasha, stating it was in the best interest of the child. That was until the father died in March of 2020. According to the criminal complaint, in Hank's death, that's when Tasha gained custody of the 6-year-old.
He was destined to be a dad. He loved his kids.
Christine Last was Bo's close family friend and a longtime babysitter for Hank. She and her family attend each of Tasha's court appearances, driving in from Fond du Lac. They call Hank by his nickname, Asher. They spoke to the I-team outside the courthouse after Rocco's latest appearance about why they make the trip.
To be Asher's voice. For me and my kids to get some kind of closure, if that's even possible.
After Bo died, Christine's family spent a lot of time with the boy.
Those were the two closest people in my life, and it just sucks now that they're gone.
Tayton Last tells the I-team he was Bo's close friend, and Hank treated him like an uncle. A week after his death, he says Bo's father called them after he spoke with police, telling them to turn over Hank to his mother, Tasha. That was in May of 2020, at the height of the pandemic. Hank spent the rest of his life with his mother. After his death, the I-team received investigative materials from West Allis police, including transcripts with Tasha's half-sister, who detailed what Hank's life was like with Tasha. We're not naming her since we were unable to make contact with her. According to those transcripts, the half-sister said Tasha was not a fit mother, adding Hank was treated like a convict. She described how Tasha prohibited Hank from using the furniture, adding Tasha force-fed the 6-year-old hot sauce for talking back. She told police she considered calling DCF, the Department of Children and Families, to report the alleged abuse, but she was afraid of retaliation from Tasha. To learn more about child maltreatment and abuse, we spoke with Carmen Petrie here at the Sojourner Family Peace Center. We asked her about the systems in place to combat these crimes, not specifically about this case.
Should we expect our systems to work? Absolutely. But systems are made up of people, which again gets back to this point that we have to educate ourselves, we have to have robust policies, we have to create rapport and trust with communities.
She says those systems can be effective, but it's not always easy to navigate, particularly during the pandemic.
The world shut down, kids were staying at home, so one of the results was a steep decline in referrals.
Those referrals for suspected child abuse are typically made by mandatory reporters like teachers and social workers who had significantly less interaction with kids at the height of the pandemic. In the case of Hank Brown Rocco, the family friends tell us they felt helpless. And according to the investigative materials, those who could report the alleged abuse didn't.
This is so wrong, and so many people would have loved to have taken him and given him the best life that he deserved.
We were unable to reach the half-sister interviewed by police. I knocked on her door and left a written message, but have not heard back. Last week, the district attorney charged Rocco with repeated physical abuse of a child resulting in death, among other charges filed last fall. She has pleaded not guilty to all charges against her, and her trial is expected to start in August. Reporting for the I-team, I'm Sean Gallagher.
Sean, thank you. If you suspect a child in your life is the victim of abuse and you'd like to report it, you can reach out to police. They say if it's an emergency, you need to call 911. Otherwise, call the non-emergency line. You can also call Child Protective Services. We have that number on your screen right now.